From TLDR News, this is your daily briefing for Tuesday the 19th of April. Good afternoon. Today we'll be discussing some of the biggest news stories, including Israeli airstrikes in Gaza and Le Pen's fraud accusations, as well as answering today's big question: how can the Russian Orthodox Church end up helping Putin? As well as discussing what's happening this week in Parliament. But first, the Russian Donbass Offensive. Russia began its much-anticipated offensive in Donbas on Monday evening, with shelling across Ukraine, followed by Russian ground offensives in Donetsk and Luhansk. US intelligence estimates that Russia has some 64 battalion tactical groups stationed in and around Donbas, amounting to slightly more than 50,000 troops. Late on Monday evening, Zelensky gave a televised address insisting that Ukraine was prepared for Russia's offensive and that Ukraine would not cede any territory. The offensive was confirmed by Sergei Lavrov on Tuesday morning, when the Russian Prime Minister announced that Phase 2 of Russia's special military operation had begun. And we'll have to wait and see what the implications of this end up being. Next up, Israel has carried out airstrikes on multiple sites in Gaza in response to a rocket fired from the Strip yesterday evening in what's been the first exchange of fire since the beginning of the year. The rocket that was fired from Gaza was intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome defense system, but this didn't stop them from firing back. Israeli warplanes responded by hitting sites including a Hamas weapons factory, but no casualties have yet been reported. This latest exchange was triggered by weeks of escalating violence, which saw 14 Israelis killed in terror attacks, and some 16 Palestinians killed by the Israeli Defense Force in the West Bank. Over the weekend, Israeli police twice entered Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque, sparking further clashes between Palestinian protesters. Similar violence last year culminated in an 11-day conflict between Israel and Palestinian militants in Gaza, but surely everyone's hoping that that doesn't happen again. There's more on the way, but be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to make the daily briefing part of your everyday routine. Or you can just search for us in your podcast app to listen along. Over the weekend, Turkish planes, helicopters and drones struck Kurdish military targets in northern Iraq, according to Turkey's defense ministry. The airstrikes, which took place alongside a land operation, including forces and commandos, were the latest in a long Turkish campaign against militants from the Kurdish Workers' Party and Syrian YPG, both designated as terrorist groups by the Turkish government. And according to the Turkish Defense Ministry, the PKK had been preparing for a large-scale attack against Turkey for some time. This latest offensive, dubbed Operation Clawlock, is not out of the ordinary though. Turkey has launched numerous cross-border operations into Iraq in recent years, as the 4-decade conflict continues on into the future. Next up. On Monday, it was revealed that electronic devices in number 10 Downing Street had been infected by hackers using Pegasus, software that can turn phones into listening devices. This software is created by the Israeli NSO group and is licensed to governments around the world. The infection in Downing Street, though, was spotted by Citizen Lab, who work at the University of Toronto. Now, while they couldn't identify who had hacked number 10, they did state that we can confirm that in 2020 and 2021, we observed and notified the government of the United Kingdom of multiple suspected incidences of Pegasus spyware infections within official UK networks. These included the Prime Minister's Office, 10 Downing Street, and the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, with the university going on to report that the suspected infections relating to the FCO were associated with Pegasus operators that we linked to the UAE, India, Cyprus, and Jordan. While that might narrow down the field, we still don't yet know where this attack came from or how advanced it is. Finally, the European Union's anti-fraud body, OLAF, have accused French presidential hopeful Marine Le Pen and members of her far-right party of misusing almost 620,000 euros of public money while serving in the European Parliament. The accusation comes just days before the final round of the French presidential election, where Le Pen faces off against incumbent Emmanuel Macron, who has extended his polling lead since the first round. The report alleges that Le Pen personally misused nearly 137,000 euros worth of EU funds between 2004 and 2017 when she was an MEP. Neither her nor her party members are accused of personally profiting from the money, but it's alleged that they misused EU funds for national party purposes. Le Pen's lawyer says that she contests the claims and questioned the timing of the allegations, which certainly do seem to have helped her opponent in the polls. That's all we have time for on YouTube today, but if you want more, including our discussion of how the Russian Orthodox Church actually helps Putin, and what the next week could bring for Johnson in Parliament, then you'll want to check out the extended version of the Daily Briefing over on Nebula. Nebula subscribers not only get everything you've already watched ad-free, but also get an extended version of the show every single weekday. Available to watch on Nebula or to stream on your podcast app of choice. So if you want to support the channel and get an even more extensive briefing every day, then you'll want to sign up. And there's good news. Our friends at CuriosityStream, the streaming service with some of the world's best documentaries, is offering a deal whereby you can get both platforms, CuriosityStream and Nebula, for less than $15 a year. That's all the documentaries you could want on CuriosityStream, and then more TLDR on Nebula, including the extended briefing, other full exclusive TLDR videos, and, well, it's always ad-free too. Click the link below to get both services for less than $15 a year and support the channel.